Hello guys and welcome back to our 45th episode of our Satisfactory Let's Play. And in our last episode, we accomplished this little build, if you remember rightly, producing 10 heavy modular frames per minute, along with the steel factory and train station, just to the right there. Now this must be one of my favorite builds that I've done so far, especially for the internal decoration point of view. However, with us now producing those 10 heavy modular frames per minute, it's now super important that we transport those resources all the way back to our factory. There is a slight issue, however, and that is that we don't really have a dedicated storage area for our more advanced items. As you can see here, we have things like the modular frames, reinforced iron plates, all of that stuff, the early tier items. We also don't have any room really here for this unless we want to do some real renovations, which we will do. Pretty much all of this is going to be destroyed and replaced eventually. However, for the time being, at least to make this renovation easier for us, we need to have a new storage area. And I always plan to have this space here as my central storage location. It's not going to work as it is currently because we've got that factory just to the right, so we're not going to build that up. And we also have the rail line there. So I think what we're going to do today is tear all of this down. In fact, we'll get started now. And once we've deleted all of this, I think we're going to move this a little bit more central in the estuary. So if we just remove this, we'll probably start the storage facility maybe about here actually, but we do need to get rid of all of this first. So that is the first plan of action, and then I want to work on probably a train station on the lower floors to bring all those items in. So let's remove all of this, and this is what we've got now. Now this is just a very basic start. We have the 3 train stations, each are going to have their designated items, and each has 4 freight stations. As you can see at the moment, we're just extending the line. We have these 3 train stations, each which are going to have 4 freight. So we need to extend these 1 more stations. And we also have this passing line, which we're going to just run along. All of these are going to merge back onto it. And then we'll run the line past the space elevator, which is actually going to be moved, and then back onto this line here. And from here, the plan is for that train track to merge back onto this one so they can go back to the base. As you can see, I've got the general feel as to how I want the train stations. However, there's one thing that I didn't really think about, and that's this: the sheer amount of, we actually went with 5 freight train stations, and we just don't have enough space for all the lines to be sorted. As you can see, this is 2 lines here, and if you look, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to redo all of this. Obviously we're going to keep the stations, we'll reduce it to 4 freight stations, and we'll keep the layout because it's nice and smooth, even though we have got a little angle there which might make things difficult. But we're going to move all of the sorting on up to the next floor. And here we are. So we have the ground floor, which we were working on with the trains, and we've got supports now. Then we have this floor, which is going to be holding all of our sorting stuff, which will eventually take stuff up to this floor, where we will lead to our circular central storage. And if you're interested in knowing how we made the detail on the floor, this is just the asphalt, and then we have I think this is the coated foundation. Let's just fly down. Yeah, and then we also have the concrete. And to do these diagonal lines, we've actually gone with the down corner ramps, and then we also have the down corner ramps in another material. Also has to be a different depth as well for some reason, but that's created this lovely angular line. And as promised, you can see over here, we have also done the railway looping back onto the main line. And as you can see, we have now done the circular storage area. We've actually just done the circular disc that this is going to be on top of, and then the storage facility. And then on top of this, we're going to have hopefully, if all goes well, the space elevator. However, there is one immediate concern, which is everything's going to be coming up to this level to then go into the storage facility from the sorting floor. And I hadn't any hindsight, so I didn't realize that I'd need a bit more space for the elevators to come through. So we're going to end up deleting this line, so this floor, and we're going to probably start the circular section here, and we're going to use this as not a sorting floor, but a logistics floor for rearranging everything. The sorting floor, on the other hand, has actually progressed quite quickly. So we have all of these lines that are coming up from the trains, and then each of these lines are going to be run along a manifold of smart splitters. As you can see, this isn't fully done yet, I forgot that, but these are going to then split off into various mergers, which will then take the resources up to that floor that you just saw. And I might as well mention right now, if you do want to see the time lapse of all of this, we have already put it up, so I will link a video to that in the right hand corner now. Now, as you can see, things have progressed a little bit, but don't mind me, I am on the wrong side of the road. We kind of don't know how I manage this, but we need to cross onto the other side because we do left-hand drive here. But as you can see, we're now in a position, if I jump out here, where we're now ready to build some awesome things. And the idea is that these will be placed at the end. So all of the resources so once this is full, these resources will be overflown to their own awesome sink. And that way, if we have a really busy area, it's going to have its own sink, so we don't need to worry about any throughput bottlenecks or throttling. One thing that I haven't thought about, which we'll do later on, I'm not too concerned about it now, is that these are in the wrong spot. And I've only just realized after placing all of these, we actually need this back industrial storage container in front of these, and then this behind, because otherwise this is going to always be empty. But again, I'm just going to build the factory first, or the storage area first, and then we'll sort that out because I don't fancy doing it again just yet. And so this is actually a good example of what we're doing. So I just put those awesome sinks around. I know we're going to have to remove the conveyors in between, but you can see how it's all going to go around. And then you've also got the logistics floor underneath where everything's just moving to the designated location. So this is the ground floor of the sorting section or logistics section. And then it actually goes up, as you can see over at the back, over there, into the disk. And then from this point, it's ridiculously cramped, but you can see how everything is sent off to its storage unit. So it's getting there. And hopefully we'll be able to see the items through the little glass floor there. But we'll see, depending on how the light is, it might not give us the reflections may stop us from seeing through. Regardless, I want the whole build to be quite spectacular. So as you can see, we have done this outer shell so far. We're going to do, I think, try and do some kind of deeper roofing with the foundations, and then we're going to have this ring around the outside. And this top section is where we're going to have the space elevator. So I'm really excited how this is all coming about. I am a little bit nervous with lighting, as we're going to play a little bit with that today. But who knows? It's an experiment. This is what you get when you don't plan. And at this point, I guess it's safe to say that by the looks of it, happy accidents do happen, because I'm really happy with how this top section at least is looking. We've obviously got this glass ring and then the glass disc which the space elevator sits on. We also have the concrete circle, and then on the outside we have the the metal foundation which is connected to these pillars on the outside in a ring. The only thing I have to say is that I am glad that it doesn't rain on Massage to ABB, because that could be devastating. I also added a little bit of lighting as well, as you can see here, which I'm pretty happy with for the time being, using those street lights to clip through the outer section. And then we've also sunken those down ramps to give this more deeper look to the ceiling, the roofing. So I'm quite happy with how this is all coming about. And also, after a lot of deliberation, I've decided to keep this as a flat wall. We'll probably do some interesting things with beams to kind of break it up a little bit. I'm a little bit concerned with how big it is, because it just might soak in too much. I'm a little concerned. But despite that, I've learned a lot of new skills from this even now, which I'm going to be using in future builds. So it's all pretty exciting. And this in particular is one of the things that's really stood out to me. It took a lot of work creating this rainbow iris, but it looks pretty good. And playing around with those signs to create this was certainly an experience in its own. And another thing that I've been working on is lighting. I haven't finalized anything yet, but obviously you'll see that in a bit. And I'm also going to be using these signs on the inside. I've currently got them down here, but I think they might look better on top to kind of break up this darkness. And then we're also using the signs for the resources. I don't know why, but they don't seem to come out if they're that short. And I now need to remove those conveyors in order to get the resources out. But because it's so short, I actually have to delete each and every one of these in order for it to be deleted and replaced. So instead, we're just going to leave it. You can see we have these orange signs. Those are for the first train station. Then we have white signs, which signify the second train station. And then over here, we have the third sign, which is the blue ones for the third train station. So it's a little bit of a sorting system, and for me to know which train is going to which station. I also don't think I've ever made a storage system quite this big in a circular formation, and I just think it's pretty cool. I'm really quite overwhelmed with it. Really happy with how it's being designed. But hey ho, back to work. On the outside, or the outside of this I should say, you can see we've started to build a walkway. We're going to do more of a walkway system all around here, I think. But for now, the important thing is that I do have my little section where I can just stick my head out and have a look who's chilling outside my iris. So this is the outer walls that we've kind of settled with. We're playing around with the beams like I mentioned we would, and also a vertical diagonal line of concrete through the middle. We've also played around with the positioning and the sinking, and also the lighting of the pillars. I'm not 100% happy, but it's not bad. We still need to do some more lighting though. It's not quite there, so we will get back. I just want to show you the rest of it first. We have a tunnel for the mainline trains to go all the way through without stopping, should they wish. And on the other side, we play around with it a little more, using the same techniques, but doing something totally different, which kind of annoys me a little bit because I like things being symmetrical, and it's not. And then on the back side, excuse the flickering, we have beams along the windows and also a bit of uplighting. Again, it's all right. It's nothing too special, but we do need to still do the inside. And this is the kind of feel that we went for in the end. We have done a little bit of uplighting. We've got a little bit of blue lighting to highlight the overall build. On the lower section, we have some oranges, whites, and blues, which I'm really happy with, loving these streaks that are coming across the rails and how we're using shadows as well where possible. And this all follows through to the sorting floor, which is now running properly, thankfully. And then on the storage floor, we have what I think is pretty spectacular, especially with the lighting. We have the central storage, and as you can see, I've moved these on top as well. Really happy. Ooh. Looks like I haven't finished. Might need to replace that. But we also have streak lighting, and we're using the pillars there to stop it from spreading all the way across. So yeah, really happy with how this turned out, but we still do have the internals to do, which I'll do at a later stage. And this is what it looks like from the top. So we have the lighting and the shadows, which really complement each other, especially with them being white and then dark, and also the white and grey color scheme as well. But if you thought this was an interesting build in its own right, wait until you see what I'm working on. I'd even argue that this pales in comparison compared to the detail of the next ones. But guys, thank you so much for watching. In fact, here's just a little sneak peek. And this, I promise you, is just the start. Anyway, guys, we are going to leave it there. If you did enjoy the video, please do drop a like. And obviously, if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. But thanks does go to all of our amazing supporters, most notably our Solar Eclipse patrons, the Calamity, Cerebral Tag, James Irwin, and Jerry 2, as well as our Lunar Eclipse patrons, Dixie Chris, Lord of July, and Ben, as well as our Blood Moon of the day, which today is Papa Snoozy. Anyway, guys, until next time, as always, ciao for now.